All right, welcome in episode. Well, scratch that. The Bros Watch the Boys, season 2, episode 2. Uh, who knows? The things are off the rails already. Let's jump into it, bro. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start? Because I know where I want to go, but I'm gonna give you the floor for this episode to see where you want to start.
Uh, all right. Well, first off, Daddy Butcher is back.
Daddy's
He,
back.
of course, Butcher makes a fantastic entrance and just does his thing. Always getting up in people's faces with a fairly strong accent, Carl Urban's actual accent. Um, it's always enjoyable to see him just kind of break people down and like immediately any situation that comes up, he just is like 100% assertive and just always backs people down. Even though it kind of
Yeah,
looks like Huey is growing a spine to it.
yeah. I think it's. We'll get into this sure in a few minutes, I'm sure. But to see that kind of the group dynamic now that Butcher's back as it goes on, throughout the episode was interesting. For me, we have to start with the Deep and his
Yes,
ayahuasca mushroom Joe Rogan DMT trip he goes on, in which Patton Oswalt voices
Patton
his
Oswalt.
gills
Yeah,
speaking to him. I mean, come on. What else can you want from a show?
I was like cry laughing the whole time during that because one, Patton Oswalt just makes the most unexpected turn ups and like voiceovers and things. And then two, I was trying to hear the rest of them singing, like doing their duet. It was just the freaking
when,
and
when,
like I don't know if you know this, but the gills as they flap, they were like spitting as
yeah,
they
yeah,
as
yeah.
they were like
It was
opening
so
and
good.
closing.
Everything about him having a duet with his own gills was amazing.
Yeah,
I
that
just,
was
I like, I had that was by far my favorite part of the episode.
yeah,
I mean that was something else, boy.
easy.
Uh,
That was just as good as the dolphin scene. Just as good.
but and then we get A Train's back, and we have the kind of showdown with him and Starlight.
Yep.
Again, another interesting dynamic there. You knew A Train was going to come back at some point, but he remembers everything that happened after being in a coma for a while. So that kind of throws a wrench into what Huey and Starlight are cooking up here with that weird gecko guy.
It may not though, because later in the episode, Starlight just gets right in his face and is like, "Look, you're not gonna do shit. You can't do anything
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
know you murdered your girlfriend."
yeah. Well, and he's an addict too, right? Like he's addicted to V. So
Maybe he might have been able to kick it. I don't know if he's still on it right now.
yeah. So I mean, it's that's gonna I'm sure for sure that's gonna play out over the rest of the season. Um,
Yeah.
the one thing we got to quicker than I was expected is they find Kimiko's brother, and they're just like, okay, that's her brother. Um, so that was a real quick intro, and then we get Butcher, of course, trying to kill her because kill him because he made the deal with Mallory to get if he brings her brother. Have they mentioned her brother's name yet? I don't think so. Um,
Um, I think they, I think they said it in the episode.
but anyway, so
Um,
if Butcher
But he
brings.
he wasn't trying to kill him. He had two shots of halothane, which were gonna knock him out and bring so that he
Oh,
could
is
take
that
him
what
to
it
the
was? I
city.
must have missed
Yeah.
that part then. So he was gonna take her brother to Mallory, the colonel, and she was gonna get him access to his wife and um, I guess his stepson. Is that what we're is Homelander's son,
Yeah, it's a
who
little. I
he
don't know what the
impregnated his
relationship would
wife
be there.
with? It's very sketchy there.
But
Um,
that's something I want to talk about too. Is it seems like she doesn't live in a real neighborhood. It's
well, she.
seeming
What do you mean? It seems like she ran into a brick wall with a guard at the front,
well.
who has
At
the
first,
doctor on the
they
line.
made that look like it was something that she was going into, but it's very clearly like this make believe like suburban America
Right,
sort of neighborhood.
right.
Um,
And, and,
and
ma- and I'm sure we'll get to this. Uh, it makes me wonder what they think they can isolate from Homelander's son, because
yeah,
obviously they think he passed something on to him, but Homelander thinks his kid has the powers, but his kid
it
hasn't
doesn't.
shown any powers. Definitely does not have powers. So that's gonna be kind of crazy because then I'm assuming when he finds out that his son doesn't have any powers, he's gonna lose his shit on somebody.
Yeah. I also he might end up doing the whole like Matrix Neo fights Morpheus thing, like stop trying to hit me, and just like punch right through the kid or something.
I mean, all bets are off in this show, so that is absolutely on the table.
Yeah.
But I think like all of a sudden, like Homelander is very much a child in mind because you see him all of a sudden like just decide that he wants to be a father. All of a sudden, he could have. I mean, once he found out that he had a son, I mean, he could have done whatever, but he just all of a sudden like now he decides he wants to be a father.
Yeah.
To his kid, which was very weird, uneasy, maybe I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of uneasy,
I
Homelander just destroys another bottle of milk. He freaking
I
goes
knew it.
down on the thing.
I knew you were going there. Did you see him smell? He's like, oh,
Yeah.
it smells the milk. It's just 2%, bro.
He was probably hoping for it to be just a little bit expired, so it had a funky little smell to it.
Dude, like, bro, it's 2% from the store.
Yeah,
It's not.
give it a break.
It's not breast milk, bro. Like, relax.
Like, don't cream yourself over the 2% milk.
I mean, I knew you were gonna bring that up because I was like, oh Lord, he said I want to talk about that.
I'm still not okay with it. I'm still not okay with that first episode.
I hope at this point I hope that that's a recurring thing. Every episode, there's a shot of Homelander drinking like
Just
drinking
milk.
milk. You know,
way
like,
too personal with a glass of milk.
yeah, that would be good. We did see Butcher's wife, Becca, kind of stand up to Homelander,
Yeah.
more or less. So I don't think she's gonna run, but I could see her. Like maybe Butcher and the boys find where she is and she helps them or something along those lines. I don't think she's gonna take off and run because it's too easy to find her. But
And
I think
they also confirmed Homelander's like super hearing.
yes,
So-
yes.
He was supposedly nowhere around and could hear the
Right.
conversation going on.
I did think that was a nice touch. But the other thing I thought of too is maybe they just told him, right? Because they said like, oh, he'll just get bored and leave, and like, he knows that we're just gonna let him do his thing. So maybe they told him that. I don't know.
I doubt it, because why would they go through all this trouble of hiding this big thing?
Right, but now that he knows, they might as well just. That's how I kind of took it that way. I mean, obviously we
There's
knew.
still more that they're hiding from him, though. I think that's what the deal is.
Yeah. So, and then we get the showdown between Kimiko and her brother, and I'm assuming they're gonna add him to the boys now. Is that where we're
They're
going
gonna
with this?
try,
At
but
least,
he's obviously got some different viewpoints from Kimiko.
right. At least in the short term, he's gonna be part of the team, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe have his hands tied up a lot.
There still is a little bit of a power struggle there with Huey and Butcher going on. Frenchie and Mother's Milk in the store after the initial battle wouldn't follow Butcher until he kind of told him like, hey, like my wife is still alive, which he didn't know before the last season's finale. So for sure that's going to play into the rest of the season. I don't know. Where do you see that one kind of going?
I definitely think it's obviously like leading up to something, but one thing, side note, Butcher didn't remember what had happened for around 3 hours. I think what happened is the same person that killed Raynor is gonna be whoever wiped his memory. I think that they've got some soup that can like mess with people's minds that they have, just around.
That's a good point. I didn't really think of it that way. I just kind of assumed like Homelander punched him, knocked him out, and then dropped him off at Tony Cicero's in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah.
Which was a nice. I see the point. You got to really watch the episode because they give you these little like really nice comedic lines in there. Like he wakes up in a parking lot of a Tony Cicero's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I mean, come on, like that's next level writing there. But I think, does that wrap us up? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Well, we did get. we got more of an intro to Stormfront, and she speaks her
We still
mind.
know that she doesn't give a shit about anybody's opinion.
Right, and she speaks a little bit. She speaks her mind, and one interesting tidbit of information we'll leave you with is Pippi Longstocking would definitely bite that D.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Stormfront giving us all knowledge that we didn't know we needed. All right, that's it. We're done for this episode. Season 2, Episode 2 of The Boys. This has been The Bros Watches The Boys. We'll see you probably, I don't know, tomorrow or sometime soon for Episode 3. See you.
Episode 3 comes up.